Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how I made the gold-plated chess set that's on my parents' interchangeable coffee table that I made last week. And if you stick around, you'll see a really cool 3D printed chess set as well. So first I cut some pieces of ash from a batten using my table saw. Then I created a 50 by 50 sapelli batten using my table saw as well. To do that, I cut a beam in half and then set my table saw at a perfect 90 degrees to be able to use it as a jointer, which worked out quite nicely. I did the same with my ash squares, which in retrospect I should have done before cutting it into 8 parts. I then cut my sapelli batten into 8 parts as well, which I then passed through my thicknesser along with the ash to get the right dimensions. I then cut some aluminum profiles. Notice how I've learned to use gloves since my lamp video, so no more accidents since. And the next step was to glue those 16 parts into 2 sets of 8 black-white alternating boards to make 2 sets at once. I then cut these boards into 8 strips each, then reversed half to get a checkerboard and glued the strips together. I then tried to sand down the end grain chessboard until I realized about an hour and a half in that my courage was saturated and I just waited 3 weeks until my CNC arrived. But I was too hasty and ended up burning the board, so I just bought a drum sander, which is now my favorite tool. Before using it though, I added an oak frame around the ash and sapelli board. This time around, I cut it with the proper tools using my miter saw for the 45-degree angles. I then added a small groove for brass tubes later on. Now using my biscuit jointer, I also made sure to get a nice joint before gluing the frame to the board. Once I received my drum sander, I was finally able to sand it down and get a nice finish that required very little sanding. I then added chamfers to the side of the board. Unfortunately, the sanding process reduced the frame grooves too much and I ended up making new grooves with a chisel and a mallet. Since this chess set was meant to be interchangeable, I also added holes to put threaded inserts before moving on to the decorations. I started by cutting out some numbers and letters in an old English type of font and used blue transfer paper to mark the wood. That allowed me to engrave the numbers and letters with my chisel. Once that was complete, I mixed some ochre pigment with hide glue and crudely painted the glue inside the letters. Once dried, I added some gilding adhesive and waited 30 minutes before applying gold leaf. Then I pressed gently with a brush to get the gold to adhere to the adhesive. I then vacuumed the excess gold and then sanded the top to remove the leftover gold and only see the numbers and letters in gold. Then I took some brass tubes out and polished them with the help of my drill and some polishing paste. I also added a 45-degree chamfer and adjusted the length of the tubes with my belt sander. I finally added epoxy and held the brass tubes down with multiple clamps. The last step was to varnish the result, which I did with an oil-based varnish. Now this is the result, which I think looks great, and if you watch till the end, you'll see it with a 3D printed chess set I made a while back but never showed here that looks really cool. Now I do have one single regret. I think Sapelli looks better when it's not end grain, so next time I'll change that. In the meantime, I hope you liked this chessboard and this video, and if you did, I'd really appreciate you sharing this video because that's what makes this channel live. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.